What up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of Movies and Shows with Comics and Pops, and we're going to be reviewing Black Widow. But before I get into it, I want to introduce you to my friend and nicknamed OC Rob, because we are part of the OC crew that head down to San Diego Comic-Con and part of the bigger Team Nerd Herd group. Robert, how you doing, Robert?
Good. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad you clarified. Yeah, we do have Big Rob, and I guess I've earned the name of OC Rob. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and glad to look forward to talk to you about Black Widow.
All right. And then also, too, want to give a quick shout out to our Team Nerd Herd moderators. We got Uncle Rudy, we got Something Wong, and our latest addition or latest moderator, D-Anime Exatera. So what's going on, gentlemen? And let's get into some roll call before we get started. So as always, we have D-Anime here first in line. Man, dude, what do you do for a living? You're here all the time. I love it. And then we have Something Wong. Oh, man, I want to grab some pho later, too. I mean, talking about it last night. So good. Oh, we got Jay Lim. We're funny. How are we funny?
Alonzo's funny looking.
Oh, that's just messed up. Oh. And then we have Steve. What's going on, Steve? Thanks for joining us. So that is all. We're caught up with the live chat. Let's get her started. All right, Robert, how are things going? And tell me about Black Widow. Break it down for me.
Things are going well. I'm really glad that we saw Black Widow together. Just special thanks to Comics and Pops here for renting out the theater for us. It was a really good experience just being with friends to enjoy this movie. And I will say that definitely for me, a top 5 Marvel movie. Most people probably top 10 at least. The story's fantastic. Just a quick overview of the movie. It takes place immediately after Civil War. So when Black Widow is on the run after violating the Sokovia Accords. And while she's on the run, she gets this mysterious package that actually ties back to her past and her family growing up. So you get a really good sense of what her history is like and what happened before she joined the Avengers. It's definitely not like an origin story where like you see her training and like all like montages. It's definitely about like almost a coming of age story as she like kind of reconnects with her family and kind of discovers who her family is, and and along the way atoning for some of the mistakes that she had made in her past and why she became an Avenger. So it's a really, really good backstory for Black Widow. And I think they did a really good job of focusing on the family aspect of it and her personal relationships.
Nice.
And yeah, it's definitely good. Yeah.
So they mentioned like Budapest or Budapest as Black Widow like to say. Did you feel like you got some closure to that? You want to kind of explain to the folks in the live chat about that whole Budapest?
Basically, it's without giving too much away. It's about a mission that her and Hawkeye worked on. It was her her last mission before she became an Avenger. She wanted to close this door in this chapter of her life by eliminating one last target, and it doesn't go quite the way that she expected. I don't know if it's good closure, because I wish, obviously she had mentioned Hawkeye was there, and so she had mentioned so I would have liked to see more of what actually happened, but it's a good callback as to why she turned the corner of becoming an Avenger after this mission. So yeah, it's always nice that they reference things in the past and kind of build a story around it. It was such a good story that and a big part of the story actually, that they could have spent a little more time around it, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I really felt that it was they kind of really did it in like 5 to 10 minutes. I wish they kind of explored it a little bit more. I would have loved to have seen that fight between Natasha and Hawkeye. I thought that would have been a great scene to kind of have, at least kind of like a flashback to it, since they haven't done it at all in any of the Marvel movies previously. So it would have been great to kind of seen some of that. some of that action.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't go wrong with any more action. So I think a little fleshed out scene where they show the flashback would have been really great. But overall, like a lot of callbacks to other Marvel stuff. They have a scene where in Civil War where Captain America is fighting Black Panther, and that's part of the story. They kind of like tie everything together pretty well.
Nice. So, which scene did you find the best? I mean, throughout the entire movie, I know there's so many unforgettable scenes, but which one to you really stood out?
I'll give you two. One,
Wow, two for the price of one. I like it.
Yes. The ending is really good, obviously, and you kind of see it in the trailers and how they're falling through the sky and stuff like that. So everything that lasts like 20, 30 minutes is amazing. Just like the special effects, the visuals, and what happens in the air, and they did an amazing job with the ending. So I thought that was great. And then also I thought actually the sister fight scenes was okay, but I don't know why they fought each other. They didn't really explain why they fought each other. So I have to put that down a notch in the book.
You know why? It could be because Natasha thought that Yelena might have been either brainwashed still as part of the Red Room. So she didn't know really, right? That's why they kind of fought and kind of got to get a feel of each other before it was just revealed that she's like, I'm no longer under the control of the Red Room.
That's possible. That's true. Or the movie kind of needed a fight scene to break up all the talking.
Or what Dan said for fan service.
Exactly. But the scene actually where small spoiler, but when Alexei, the Red Guardian, Yelena, Black Widow, and Melina all have dinner or fake dinner together, and they just talk about their past, and Yelena's like, the best part of my life was fake, and I thought that was a really good like character exposition scene about like explaining who they are and what they feel as a family, was it real or not, and how they deal with all that stuff. And so that's why I think on an emotional level, this movie is a lot better than other Marvel movies, because there's more of a backstory and interaction with all these characters. Like, even though Yelena is not really Natasha's sisters, they have that sisterly bond. And even like the other scene where they were at the like gas station shop and they were just talking about stuff, like, why do you do that pose? All the dialogue between them was really good.
Then you know what? That's actually my favorite scene. That like throughout the entire movie, Yelena is making fun of Natasha for her posing. Like every time in a fight scene, she poses. So Yelena just is like calls her a poser the entire time. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the movie, Yelena kind of ends up in a pose.
Yep.
And then she's like, "Oh my god, this is like." She was just like, "I hate this. Like, why did I do this? It's great." I mean, I thought that was great comedy, and again, it's a callback to all the times like Black Widow would always just kind of pose either before the fight scene or after the fight scene, and does that like hair flip, and Yelena does that to perfection. It's great.
Oh yeah, like again in Black Widow too, I think she does it like that's her signature move. So I mean, again, that's what they're really good at, is calling back to other stuff. So yeah, anytime like they just had dialogue or like, "You like my jacket, don't you?" The scene in the car where they're just talking, I think was a really good scene. And then again at the end, how, spoiler alert, she gives her jacket to Natasha as like a little parting gift. And so to your point, like the Yelena is like, I think this really the best thing to come out of that movie, because she's well developed and she's really funny and she kicks ass, and all those things really make a really good watchable and likable character.
Oh, for sure. Like I thought she stole the show, like Yelena, every time that she was on a scene. But honestly, I really liked Red Guardian. When Red Guardian was like, anything he did was hilarious. I love the fact that he's like this older, overweight guy tries to put on his rubber suit. It was great. And when he's fighting Taskmaster, like everything about Red Guardian, you think like he's a clown, but he has a lot of heart. And I mean, I did really feel like every scene that he was in, he really stole it. Like he owned it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think he's like the lovable, goofy dad kind of in the movie. Like, he still thinks he's their dad, but he's not really. But he tells them what to do. He thinks he's in love with Melina, or that he thinks that she's really his wife, but when she really wasn't. Or when they were in the cell together. When Melina was on one side and he was on the other side. It was really, yeah, he was also great. And then just like, well, I don't know, maybe you can explain, but like his backstory in the comic books as Red Guardian, is he supposed to be like that, or is he supposed to be like a more of a foil to Captain America?
He was definitely more of a foil to Captain America. It's the Russian version of Captain America. So to have like all those callbacks are talking about like, oh, I would have had Captain America eat his shield, and stuff like that. It's great because that's how that character came about. And just really quick shout outs. We just had 2 more people enter in the chat. So what's up, Chief? What's going on? Thank you for joining. And also Uncle Rudy, thank you for joining us here for movies and shows. So yeah, I totally agree that it was a foil to Captain America. And I like some of the callbacks to their Russian team that they had. I forgot what it's called. But they mentioned like Ursa Major, which is a bear, and one of the other ones, their version of Iron Man. I forgot what the name of that character is. Oh, what's going on? Comic Talk Weekly. Thanks for joining us. So besides Yelena and Red Guardian, were there any other standouts to the movie?
I felt like no. I think it just like, those are the standouts. Obviously, a tight story. Other than a little plot holes here and there, I felt like the helicopter shouldn't have gone down, even though it got shot a billion times, or the ending scene where all the bad guys died, not the good guys die. Kind of typical Marvel stuff, or like the avalanche killing all the prisoners and the guards. So obviously it's not perfect, but I think overall it's very enjoyable. I think it's a good summer action movie. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with it. I think it's very the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are really positive, like 80-90%. I think it's really
great.
It's really good. So I would
you would recommend it, obviously, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, even with its faults, I would still again, like I said, top 5 Marvel movie for me. Probably most people say top 10. Even if you're not a Marvel fan, it's a good summer action movie. Probably I don't know if better than Fast 9, but in terms of action. But overall, I think the story is a lot better than most things that you see. It's actually, and it also ties into Captain Falcon Winter Soldier.
Speaking of which, let's just spoil it because that's what we do. And we're nerds. We know that we're gonna watch it this weekend, right? We've been waiting 2 years for this movie, so we're gonna spoil this. So in case you guys don't want to hear the spoilers, earmuffs or just put it on mute for like the next 5 minutes. Here we go. So how does this lead into Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Well, it's the funny part is because the movie was supposed to come out before Falcon and Winter Soldier, and so you kind of, since of the pandemic and everything, you got this reveal afterwards. But so if you watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's a new character that's introduced, Valentina something. I forget her name.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, yeah. Valentina, yeah. And she's like this mysterious figure that hires people to do stuff, and she hires John Walker, aka U.S. agent, to become part of her secret organization and to do tasks. And so in Black Widow, it would have been her first introduction to that character. So she talks to Yelena and tells her that Hawkeye is responsible for Natasha's death in Endgame. And so I think she's setting Yelena on this revenge mission after Hawkeye, and I think it sets up for the Hawkeye Disney Plus series. And
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, so it's sure. So yeah, so it was a cool callback to this mysterious character, but obviously the order of which you saw her in was a little backwards, but pretty cool secret scene at the end.
No, I love that scene. I thought it was great because like we already knew that she was going to appear in Hawkeye. I mean, we've heard the casting news, we've heard all the rumors and stuff like that, but we didn't know exactly how they were going to tie that in to that particular series. So it's great to hear at the very end that Yelena is going after Hawkeye. So she's going to be one of the main antagonists for the series, which is great.
She's obviously going to be the power broker part 2. I mean, it's the worst secret that they had. That Sharon Carter. Spoiler alert for that shit, seriously, but Sharon Carter's a power broker, guys. I'm sure that like Yelena's probably going to hunt Hawkeye for a while, and they're going to team up against somebody else because that's what they do.
That's right. They're good guys, right?
Yeah, they're always good
but
guys.
I like the fact that Valentina or Val, whatever, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, however you want to call her, that she is essentially assembling the Dark Avengers, right? You have USA Agent Captain America, you have Black Widow Yelena. I mean, what do you think? I mean, they got to round out with Iron Man. They also got to get a Thor,
yeah,
and a Hawkeye.
Yeah, I don't know too much of the back end story, so I don't know who else they would get for those people. But I mean, like again, Hawkeye is supposed to have Kate Bishop, so that's also a segue to Young Avengers too.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Again, Marvel. I mean, Taskmaster might be on that team.
There we go. Wait. Before we get in, I like that because I was just going to bring that up. That Taskmaster could be in the Young Avengers. Or not, excuse me, not Young Avengers, Dark Avengers as part of that like Hawkeye hybrid. So again, spoilers. So you might want to earmuffs or put it on mute for the next few minutes here. What did you think about the big reveal of Taskmaster in Black Widow?
It's pretty whack, to be honest. It was kind of forced. So again, spoilers. Like in Budapest, Natasha kills the daughter of the person that she was supposed to kill as bait, and you see Taskmaster in the movie and you don't know who it is, and then Taskmaster turns out to be the daughter that she thought she killed. But I know in the comics Taskmaster isn't actually a dude, and he has all these abilities and he fights the Avengers. So I understand why they did it in this movie, to make it a callback to Natasha's past, and to make it more personal, and obviously part of the ending. But in terms of like how she was created, so she survived this massive bomb explosion,
which happened in Budapest. That's that whole Budapest thing, paper that happened.
Yeah. So they showed the scene, and there was a massive explosion. So I don't even know how she's alive. But of course, in Marvel movies, nobody ever really dies. But yeah, then. So she gets some mimic abilities that she can copy people fighting styles, and then she has a robot suit that they don't really explain or how they created. They download software into her brain,
right?
Yeah. She downloads they put a USB drive in her head, and that she can fight people now. So that was kind of a letdown. Obviously, I mean they would have had to spend more time on building a story for Taskmaster, and at least this story kind of comes full circle. But it's still a little bit cheesy and a little bit forced.
Good point. Real quick, good point, Chief. I forgot about the Hulk, and you're right. Abomination is definitely their Hulk for the Dark Avengers. Thank you. Yeah. I did forget about that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
How dare you forget about that?
I know.
Turn in your nerd card. It should be a shame.
Man, thanks. But yeah, Taskmaster, I agree with you. I felt it was poorly done. I can't believe it was the daughter, and how the hell did she survive an explosion with just burns on her face? I mean, she should be dead. But
nobody dies in Avengers movies, man.
Except for Iron Man.
Is he really dead? I'm sure they'll make a way he'll come back.
Oh man,
Nick Fury didn't die.
Well, but he's Nick Fury.
Well, he's Iron Man.
Man, come on, you're killing me. But yeah, I wish Taskmaster was somebody else. The way they just did that big reveal, it's like, oh my god, it's your daughter. I was just like, oh my god, this is horrible. I just couldn't believe they did that. It was just such a waste. of a
Yeah.
great character. I thought,
if they had like spent a little bit of time of setting her, maybe like the Taskmaster was like somebody that formerly trained Natasha back at the Red Room. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I believe that. Yeah, I could have believed that. Or somebody else in that prison that escaped too, or I don't know. Again, like it would have taken a little time, obviously, to set it up. But I think if done right, they could have at least made a little more sense than just being the daughter.
Yeah, and it's funny too because there was a lot of rumors for Black Widow saying that Taskmaster might be a girl, might be a woman, and I was just like, oh my god, when they showed her as the daughter, I was like, oh, those rumors were true.
Uh,
I couldn't believe it because I was always thinking in my head that Taskmaster's male, that we're just gonna have this regular comic book version of Taskmaster, who's male.
right. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like it could have been a woman, which is fine, but they could have made her like somebody in the Black Widow, the Red Room program that replaced Natasha when she left. You know what I mean? They could have like kind of like called it back, or like she got super serum, or she got the second dose of super serum, and then they taught her all these moves. Something more plausible, I guess. That's all. The Taskmaster daughter thing was just a stretch for me.
Yeah, I would have even felt better if Taskmaster was just a mercenary.
Yeah,
and that's it, and just leave it at that. Like he's just a mercenary, kind of like how they did with Crossbones. I mean, they didn't really give you any backstory about this character. He was just some Hydra agent, and that's it. But I think to your point, I think Natasha felt guilt for killing the daughter, killing this
right, yeah.
child.
For the emotional aspect of the story, that I understand why. Again, but yeah, they could have probably done something a little more plausible.
Yes, I would agree with you. And I know we're running into our time. Rob, again, would you recommend this movie to not just only your comic book nerds, but also to like your other friends? You have other friends that aren't nerds, right?
No, not really. All my friends are nerds. Yeah, I agree with what Hood Rat Comics said. Yeah, I have Yelena on my mind too. Again, definitely she seals the show. Florence Pugh is the actress. She's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
David Harbour as Alexei, aka Red Guardian. He was great. Again, in this summer, like if you're obviously people are maybe a little bit cautious going back to the movies because of the pandemic. I think this is definitely one worthwhile going back into the theaters for. The action's great, the story's great. It feels like a summer blockbuster movie. I know you could watch it on Disney Plus for $30, but I would recommend that you guys watch in the theaters again. It's just a great overall summer movie. You don't have to know too much about the backstory of the Marvel series. Just was up. You don't have to know too much about the Marvel series. You can watch it without it, and I still think you would enjoy it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that then.
No, hey, that's exactly what I want to hear. Thank you for bringing your expertise to this review, OC Rob. I really appreciate it. And for all of you guys out there in the live chat, just want to let you know, JR will be in Justin's show today at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and they're going to be going over Black Science Volume 2. And it's going to be Justin, it's going to be JR, and it's going to be Eric, aka Azores Tiger. You don't want to miss it. I put the link. Whoops. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Let me get you guys a link to the actual show, and then you guys can and I will definitely see you guys there. Here we go. Let me see if I can get that taken care of. Let me see. Yes. So I just sent it to you guys over in the live chat. Again, it's about Black Science. You're gonna get Justin, you're gonna get JR, and also Azores Tiger. It's gonna be a good time. They did already a review for Black Science Volume 1. So this is the second part to that review. So it's gonna be a good time. And also too, you can catch Team Nerd Herd tonight at 7 p.m. for our favorite part of the bottom half. So that is all. Again, thank you, OC Rob, for coming on the show and talking Black Widow with me. And everybody,
thanks for having me, man.
Hey,
It's good times.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. All right, guys. And if you want to do it right,
collect what you like.
What?
Oh, you thought I didn't know?